Wait for a few people to tune in. Damn. Welcome, everyone. Damn. Comment your thoughts, first of all. Tell me what you thought of that. I see Murray's watching. He'll be quite a happy chap right now. You can get stuffed, Murray. Just tune out, mate. You don't need to watch this. What a game, first of all. I mean, there's been some shit games this season, and there's been some shit games this round that I've seen. And that one, you know, although we lost, lived up to the hype. You know, it was especially that last 10 minutes. We'll talk about the rest of the game in a little bit, but especially that last 10 minutes, that was finals intensity. The pressure that we were putting Brisbane under was immense, but the way that they could handle it and just not give it up when it was almost certain that it looked like that we had the chances, you know, the number of smothers that they had in that last 2 to 3 minutes, where we had some snaps to win the game was crazy. You know, both teams just went to another level in the last 5-10 minutes, and in the end, I would have been happy with the draw. I think the game deserved a draw, to be honest. You know, a lot of people are commenting and already saying that, you know, Brisbane could have been far and away by three-quarter time if they had a kick straight, but they didn't, and that's their problem. You know, that's Brisbane's problem. But the fact that we didn't lower our heads and we really went for the kill in that last term, no matter what, that's a credit to our boys. You know, we could have put our heads down and we could have let Brisbane go on a run and run away with the game like they've done against so many teams in the past. But we got to work. You know, Caulfield's last quarter was huge. He was so good in that back line and offering so much rebound. Zach Jones went to another level in that last quarter, and Jack Steele for the entirety of that game was the midfielder. He's easily getting the 3 votes in that game. In a losing side, he gets the 3 votes. And a special mention to Seb Ross, who played on Lachie Neale, and for the most part of the game kept Neale very quiet. And I think Neale had his first kick in the third quarter, I believe, at least late second or early third, where he had his first kick of the game. And he's the Brownlow favourite. So Seb Ross, mate, well done. Like, he did a tagging job on one of the best, probably the best midfielder in the league, and you did a great job. But overall, it's just one of those that got away. You know, both teams had their chances to win the games in different ways. Brisbane, for the most part, as they always do, and we talked about this in the preview, they generate a lot of inside 50s, they generate a lot of shots on goal. Some of them, not really realistic chances. They missed a few directly in front, but they also missed a few from tight angles, from 45 to 50 metres out, and they missed them. So it makes it look like they missed a lot of easy shots. They did, I'll give them that. They did miss some easy shots, but there were also some really hard ones in there. But also us, you know, Marshall from a really close range missed a few. King dropped a few, but also when he had chances to kick goals, he missed a few. You know, but you can't really say too much about that. I thought we tried hard for the whole game. Brisbane had their moments. I thought we had the half of the first quarter, we were very good. Then Brisbane finished the stronger. Brisbane had, you know, a little bit of momentum in the second, but we probably had the better of the second term. Brisbane started well in the third. We finished strong. And then for the entire fourth quarter, it was played inside our forward 50. And, you know, we just struggled to get that killer goal, just to get that. I feel like if we had have hit the front, then things would have been different. We would have just gone on with it. But we just couldn't crack it. We couldn't get through in that forward 50. And, you know, Harris Andrews for the first 3 quarters on Max King, the amount of disposals and intercept marks that he had, that was the thing that I thought would be the difference in the end, whether we can negate Harris Andrews. And for the most part, for 3 quarters, we couldn't. He had the better of King. He took a lot of intercept marks, read the ball very well, as he does every week, and offered all of that rebound that creates so much score for Brisbane. You know, Brisbane's scores are, you know, majority are from the midfield, and McCluggage had a very good game again. Berry was very good, and, you know, they hit the scoreboard, and Hipwood missed a few chances, and Cameron was pretty quiet apart from the free kick and snap goal that he kicked. And, you know, you think that at that point, if things go that way, well, you know, we probably get the job done. But it was such a contested game that no team really could get a big run on. And the most pleasing thing for me was anytime Brisbane got a run on, whether it was 1 or 2 goals, when that Ruckman kicked the goal and then he set up, I think it was McCluggage, to kick another goal, or potentially Berry, can't remember, probably Berry actually, and they go about 16 points up. From that point on, we put our heads down, we got to work, and we made sure that it was a tough win for Brisbane. And we could have taken it. We probably, when you look at it in the last quarter, we probably should have won the game. Brisbane fans will say that they had more shots, they missed easy shots, but teams have that every week, and Brisbane do that every week, and they win. So they're only going to use that as an excuse when they lose. And it's easy, they ignore it when they win, but in that last 5-10 minutes, we should have won the game. We should have won the game. And it's just one of those losses that you think, fuck, there's more positives than negatives when you think about it. I thought Brad Hill was very good again. Geary had 16 disposals and was pretty solid. Carlisle 14, Seb Ross 15, and negated Neil in a very good way. Rowan Marshall was huge. And Zach Jones just does what Zach Jones does every week, and he gets the ball, he runs. He wants to win games. You can tell when Zach Jones gets the ball, it's not sideways, it's not slowing the game down. It is full throttle, 100%, go for the win. And I feel like if we had 5 more minutes with Zach Jones in that last quarter, there would have been a big chance for us to win the game. And those smothers at the end got it for Brisbane. That's it. It was a game of near misses and just things that didn't go our way, and that's it. The good thing is that these are the sort of games where you can't really look at it and think, shit, we're a bad team. We're a very good team. Today we were on. We challenged a team that usually beats teams very comfortably at this ground in front of their home support. And I'm just going to briefly gloss over it, but a lot of people probably have commented about it already. But the umpiring, for the most part, was pretty average. But I thought in the last quarter, they put their whistle away and let the game go. And that helped us in a way. That didn't stop any of our momentum with a shitty push in the back or holding or whatever it was. I mean, there were some iffy free kicks on both sides, but for the majority, I feel like the first half, at least, Brisbane got a few iffy ones. A few throws here and there, a few ones that you just didn't know what it was for. But, we worked hard. We got ourselves into a position to win the game, and Brisbane just lifted. And that's, why both teams, I think, are going to feature pretty heavily in the top 8 and the potentially top 4, depending on what we can do for the next 4 to 5 weeks. So we've got Melbourne next week, massive game, but based on how they were against the Dogs, we should go in favourites and be confident. So, Max King had one of those nearly games again, probably one of his worst games of the season, but, he still takes a huge mark, had a few chances to kick goals. There were 2 chances in that first quarter where, for some reason, he just kind of rushed and went for a handball and then for a kick. Both turned over, Brisbane got up the other end and score. So those are the times where even when the game's frenetic, we need to have players understand the moment and know, okay, I'll take this shot. Because he had a chance from 50 to take a shot, and he goes for a short kick and it doesn't come off. And you feel like if there's 2 minutes to go in a big game, King doesn't do that, and he goes for the shot instead. But we kick more goals and we lose the game. That's the thing. And, I knew that Brisbane were going to be inaccurate and have more shots than us. That's just a given, the way Brisbane play. But I knew that we were going to be more accurate and have less chances. So I knew that on its own would mean for a very close game. And, we lose by 2 points and kick more goals than the team. You can't really question that. That's just the 2 styles of the teams. We get minimal chances, but we get them in good positions and we kick goals. And, special mention to Jack Billings, who for most of the quarter, he had 3 possessions. And then in the last quarter, he went to the next level and kicked a ripper goal right on the point line and somehow snapped it in, took some big marks and created some big chances for us to win the game. And I think he ended up finishing with 15. So we had 8 or 9 possessions in that last term and really lifted when we needed him to. And, that's the whole team lifted in that last quarter. So we can't question them. And that's what the full-time post was about. We were so close, but just missed a few chances at the end and that cost us. So enough of me. That's my emotion getting into this. I'm more happy than upset about that loss, which is a rarity for me. Generally when we lose, I'm shitting on the boys and really unhappy. But in this game, it's like, geez, both teams had their chances. Both teams played to their strengths, and both teams almost did enough to win the game, and we just didn't do that little bit at the end to get the win. But, to me, I would have taken a draw, and I generally think this game probably deserved that. So that's my take on it. So let's go all the way to the top. There's a lot of comments tonight, boys and girls. So let's see what we've got. Connor says, sad afternoon. Didn't expect to win, but still had my heart in my mouth. I know, that's just classic Saints footy, isn't it? You don't know what you're going to get, and even when you get close to beating a really good team, you're just really upset. But, the boys have come a long way since getting done by 10 goals to Brisbane last year. And they should take full confidence that in front of a Brisbane crowd on their home deck, and they play very good football and usually beat a lot of teams and probably will finish top 4 this season like they did last season. We went a long way there, and it shows the progress that Rats has had with this team in, under 6 to 8 months. And that's just credit to him and credit to the players for improving so quickly. And Bytel even today, I don't know what he finished with. I thought he did some nice things. He finished with 8, but he had some massive tackles and did some really good things inside the middle of the ground where we just needed pressure on the ball carrier and to get the ball out, and he could do both. He could tackle, but then he could free up and get his hands out and get the ball out. So, Bytel's going to be a player. The lowest disposal getter on the ground for us was Paddy Ryder, but he had 17 hit-outs. Dean Kent was 6. Dougal Howard was 6. Nick Hines, 7. Bit quiet there, but Dan Butler kicked 2 goals and had 8. I thought Membry, although he only had 9 touches, I thought he did some really nice things. Sinclair, 11. Ben Long, 11. King, although he didn't kick a goal, he still had 11 touches. So that's not bad for a forward to have 11 disposals in a really highly contested game. So even though he didn't kick a goal, he still got the ball, and he set up a few chances near the end there where we could have pinched it. Joe said, had a crack, had our chances, need more composure early against the contenders. I agree there. There was a few times late in that first and early second term where we just hacked the ball, and it was only towards the end of the game where we started lowering the eyes, going for those really risky kicks into the middle of the ground and taking the game on. And that's when we exposed Brisbane. That's when they were at their worst, and that's when we were at our best, when we took them on with our chain of handballs through the middle of the ground and go for that short 15, 20-metre dart inside the 50. And I feel like if we didn't do that for enough of the game. We did that for half the game, but then for another half of the game, we probably just hacked the ball and just didn't look for the option inside enough. Unlucky from Luke. Tanae says, damn. That's the feeling overall, isn't it? Colin says, no, don't talk. We've seen it, no commentary. Don't know what you mean there, mate. Shane says, hi, Jakey. G'day, mate. Hope you're going well. Umpire's game from Angus. I wouldn't go that far, but geez, they had some questionable calls. But every game has questionable calls. The more that I watch just football in general, the more you realise umpires just love to be part of the show, and they love to just, I don't know, just to put their number out there and to almost make themselves famous for shitty calls. And that number 12 umpire, I'm pretty sure he's cost us a few games before, and he was very shit today again. So number 12 in particular was awful. Michael says, about to go and sit on the toilet and drop a massive umpire in the toilet. I probably shouldn't have read that comment out, but funny nonetheless. Dion says, was Ben Long on the ground today? Yes. I don't know if he played on Cameron. I thought he did a pretty good job if he did. Cameron kicked the 1 goal from the free kick, and apart from that was unsided. So whoever was on Charlie Cameron did a very good job. Kingsley says, this hurts, but be better for it in the long term. I agree. You look at, we've played the top team in Port, we beat them. We failed our test against Collingwood. We failed our test against Geelong, and we lived up to it almost against Brisbane. So 2 out of the 4 against really, really good teams, and then you've beaten Richmond and you've beaten the Bulldogs. You're going okay. So in general, we're going okay. And we're going to lose some close ones, but, I feel like we're going to be better for it in the long term, and, we should make finals at this point. We didn't lose any percentage, which is great. But we are 6th now, so we're kind of back into the pack. We definitely need to beat Melbourne next week, that's for sure. That probably ends Melbourne's chances of making the top 8, and it secures our chance. We'll be 9-5 after 14 weeks. That probably gets you close enough to finals. Jake says, played their hearts out, just couldn't get it done in the end. Stu says you're huffing and puffing pretty much sums it up exactly how I feel. Yeah, it's not really huffing and puffing with anger. It's just, God, we were so close. That's just how I feel. It's just, fuck, that was one of those ones that you really... And North Melbourne as well was under a goal. Freo, we lost. It was 6 points or whatever it was, 4 points in the end. Those are the ones that just come back to haunt you. But hopefully they don't for us. Scott says, beat ourselves. Ultimately gave up too many shots. Ben Dixon must be kicking coach up there. What else we got? Luke says, at least our percentage hasn't plummeted. That's a positive. I think there's more positives than just that to come from this. I think that Jack Steele continuing his form, the fact that we can use Seb Ross as a tagger was massive. Tim Member is getting back into form. Dan Bartlett continues and kicks 2. Rowan Marshall was immense. Zach Jones was huge. Nick Caulfield in the back half, without having Hunter Clark there to help him out, was just massive in that last quarter. And Brad Hill and Billings lifted in that last one we needed them to. So there's so many positives. The only negative is that we just fucking lost. That's as simple as it gets. On field, I thought we did almost everything the way Rats would have wanted, but we just didn't generate as many chances as they did, and that cost us in the end. They kicked, what did they kick? 6-14. They had 20 shots. We kicked 7-6, 13. Probably a few out on the Fulls either side. So, they had 6 or 7 more chances, and that was enough to just get over the line. Rob says, Smothers won matches. Good effort for the boys, but we will learn from the match. I agree there. Lachlan says, unlucky in the end. Played till the final siren. Stiff that King missed that 25 metres out. King needs to hold their marks. I know there's so many that he just nearly takes. He took that one in the last quarter, I think it was, or the third. Massive mark. And people forget that prior to that, in the middle of the ground, he was the one that bent below his knees to actually get the handball out and continue the passage. So the fact that he was there and then the passage goes and he gets that mark shows the work rate that he had from the middle of the ground to get forward and to still take that mark. And he misses, but it shows the work rate of this guy. At 20 years old or however old he is, in his 14th game or 13th game, to do that, it's massive. And, he's going to do that in games in the future, but he's going to kick goals and he's going to win us those games. So time will only, it'll only progress him. He's only going to get better and he's going to learn from this. And he played on a very good defender and he still found a way to have chances to impact the game. He just didn't kick straight. John says, commentary from Bruce done my head in. Yeah. I'm just glad Rankin didn't play, to be honest, because he would have been all over that again. But yeah, Bruce, too many questions at the end of his statements and I don't know. He just gets a bit too enthusiastic about the little things in footy games. Moran says, so close, but so bloody far. My heart is still pumping. That's from May. Peter said, had chances in the last few minutes, but didn't take them. Shane says, we had too many players not prepared to go when they should. Yeah, there were a few times where we could have gone fast and we didn't, which is kind of surprising for us because we generally do like to go fast. But... towards the end there, we went fast and it nearly won us the game. So we knew when to go. There were times where probably we held the play up a bit too much and it cost us. James is asking, do you think we will still make finals? Yes, I think we will still make finals. Hard day for Max. This is from Matt, but was against quality opposition. Missed Hunter and Gresh. I agree. Gresham in the middle would have been massive because I thought that Zorko and McCluggage and Lyons and these sort of guys had really good games. Gresh almost forward could have been a big tell at the end there. His class and his kind of X factor would have been much needed. And then Hunter Clark at halfback or even in the midfield would have been immense. So you'd think that if we have those two guys in, we're missing Hanbury as well. Could have been a big opportunity for us to get the win, but with the players we had on the park, we did really well in the end and should have taken it. Lucas has honestly tried our hearts out. So happy with the boys, but the umpiring killed us late in the game. All we can do is move on to Melbourne and put everything out there and get the win, leaving everything on the field and have a well-deserved bye. That's the good thing. We have a week or 6-day break, enough time to recover. We'll get Hunter Clark back and we'll go hard against Melbourne and then we have a week off to recover. And then I think we have West Coast, Hawthorn, then GWS. So there's a big few weeks coming up, but If we can get past Melbourne, go into the bye at 9-5, we're in a very strong position to make finals for the first time in 9 years. Kingsley also says, Jones is a gun. He made us believe we're in with a chance in the last 5 minutes. I agree. He almost willed us single-handedly over the line there. Charles says, shattered. The umpiring was very harsh on the Saints, and no, because I'm a sore loser. Phil says, give Membry a week off. Put Carlisle up front as he looks like he can take a mark, then give Robertson a week to try and get him back in the game. Interesting there. I don't know if we're going to do that. I thought Membry was actually pretty good, for the most part. He kicked the 1 goal and, I thought he fought hard. There were a lot of times where he was outnumbered, and when the ball hit the ground, he led some important tackles and kept the ball in the forward half for us. So, he didn't do the job in the air, but he did a lot at ground level and pressured the ball really well for a big guy. Travis says, way too frustrating. What a joke. Absolutely peppering the goals in the last 5 minutes and couldn't convert. Members' smother on Marshall's goal was the biggest. I know. What was Membry thinking? Did he think it wasn't going to go in? It was definitely bouncing in for the first goal. I don't know what his logic was there. I'd love to hear what he was thinking in that time, but it was going to be a goal. There was no doubt it was going in. And then he kept it in play. So, and that didn't cost us the game, but it would have been a great start, and it could have been a factor towards the end. But it is what it is, and in the moment, split-second decision, you can't really get too carried away with that. Nathan says, just didn't have the polish to finish it off. Good to have the experience of playing in a game like that, and it's good to see that the boys can handle that pressure. We can handle the pressure and give it back hard, and Brisbane had absolutely no answers in that last quarter. Brisbane, they were lucky to get away with it. We were all over them in the last. They didn't dominate a quarter like we did in that last. They had patches where they kicked a few quick goals and had the better of the play, but the only time that a team dominated a quarter from start to finish was the last, and that was us. And we just couldn't convert in the last 5 minutes. Simple as that. What else we got? We had them. That's from Jason. Jason also says, Jack Steele so far ahead in the Trevor Barker medal. It's not funny. Yeah, give him the medal now. He is a freak. 25 disposals, 10 tackles, 259 metres gained, and a goal if you don't mind. I'm not sure what Lockie Neal finished with. Neal finished with 19. So, yeah, you think that Jack Steele gets the 3 votes there in that game. Alan says, no flow, scrappy game from us, should have won. Brisbane stopped dead in the last quarter, bombed it into our forward line all game. Back on track next week. Yeah, good comment there. Back on track next week. Let's take care of Melbourne. Let's finish their season off and let's keep our season going. Michael says, ouch, but we've got a side now that will bring a lot of joy in finals, equal in most stats, but lost it in our forward 50 entries and not being able to hold it in and convert. Good call. Brisbane have a very good midfield, one of the best midfields in the league, arguably. We won more contested ball. We had, more clearances, and that's a big thing for us. Generally you'd think that. Let's go teams. Generally, you'd think that's where Brisbane would win the game, but we negated their biggest strength, which was their mids. Their mids still kicked a couple of goals, but so did ours. So I feel like we broke even there. Hitouts 29-21 our way. Clearances 25-23 our way. Stoppage clearances 15-20 our way. Contested possessions we won. Turnovers we created more. But just in general, they just had more shots on goal. That's pretty much it. And more shots equals probably more opportunity to win the game. Chad says, just missed a really bad opportunity. Missed some easy ones with Marshall and King. Proud but disappointed. I agree. Spot on. Shane says, man of steel, best on ground easily. Loved Hill off the halfback flank in that last quarter. Great tactic. Created a lot of rebound, and I thought that was one of his best games. He only had 15, but what he did with it was great. He had over 400 metres gained, which I think was the most on the ground for any player. Let me just double check. I think it was the most for any player, so that's great for Brad Hill. That's what we want from him. 15 touches, he gets over 400 metres gained. Job well done for Brad Hill there. Tim says, how does Andrews just drop it in the tackle 30 metres out, throwing his arms out, and the tackle goes unrewarded? Gallantry is fine, but I'm over not experiencing achievement. Achievement will come, mate. It will come. our team is building. It's only getting better, and we didn't lose any supporters or members today. That is for sure. Good game, even though we lost. We have a lot of upside, though, Jake. Good show as always. Thanks, Duncan. Thanks for the comment. Members, tackling was good. That's from Georgie. Even I will say that Seb Ross had a good game from Shane. Yeah, special mention. Seb Ross, that passage in the third where he gets the ball and he does a little pirouette turn and then hits it lace out, I think, to Max King on the lead, was massive. Like, he turned into prime Chris Judd, in his West Coast days at that point. And it's just good to see Seb Ross getting back into that sort of form where he's tagging, but he's also going on the offensive and being quite effective. So it's just good to see players like that have, been in and out of the team, come in and have a real impact on the team's performance. And I thought, if he doesn't do what he did to Lachie Neale today, we'd probably lose that game by even more. But he took Lachie Neale and pretty much beat him. He had as much of the ball as Neale, and I thought he was very good around the ground and did some nice things in some critical moments. I might scroll to the bottom, see what else we've got. Again, thanks for the comment, guys. Ben Patton needs a rest. I don't know about that. He had enough of the ball. I think he had 14 possessions again. I thought he was pretty solid. A couple of little kicks here and there in the back 50 that put us under pressure that was unnecessary, but overall I thought he did a pretty decent job on, I think it would have been on McCarthy or on Cameron, and yeah, both players were fairly quiet apart from those 1 goals. They kicked 1 goal each between them, so 2 goals overall, so not too bad. Ian says frustrated from missed opportunities, bad luck, questionable umpiring and poor ball handling, yet it was only 2 points. I know, imagine if we just get that A-grade midfielder we desperately need in the off-season and we, Max King takes a few of those extra marks and we have Gresham and Hunter Clark back into the team, we're going to be a good team. We're already probably a good team, judging by our form. Apart from Geelong and Collingwood games, we've been in every game this season. So we can't be too angry about that, guys. I might leave it there. I mean, there's so much to talk about, but overall, it was just one of those games where both teams had their chances. Both teams could have won by more. Both teams almost coughed it up with inaccuracy and just not taking their chances. And I think that overall, Brisbane probably just generated too much forward pressure that got them over the line. And we did almost everything to win the game. And, we negated Lachie Neale. I thought we broke even in the midfield. Our forwards did a great job. I thought our backmen did a good job. I thought Dougal Howard did great on Hipwood, although Hipwood had a lot of chances to kick goals. McStay kicked a goal, but apart from that, didn't do much. McCarthy didn't do much, kicked a goal. Cameron, apart from his 1 goal, didn't do much. So our backline held firm. We kept a very high-scoring team to 50 points on their home deck in perfect conditions, and we had chances in the last to go for it. And, even though for 3 quarters, Brisbane had a bit of the strength and they could have won by more and could have been ahead by more, we went for it in the last. And that's all we can ask, is if the game's there for the taking, no matter how the other team's performing, if there's a sniff and, there's an opportunity for us to win the game, when even if we don't deserve it and we go for it and we nearly take it, that's all we want from this team, is to go for the throat when the game's there. So this is a big confidence boost for me. Any game where we just, we're struggling, but we're still in it with a sniff in the last, it shows that there's a chance that this team has that mental strength to put the foot down and go for it no matter what, and risk losing by more to win the game. And, if we had have played slow footy and been worried about losing, we wouldn't have been in the position we were in late to win the game. So I think that we did everything right. There's a few little things that we could have done better individually and collectively, but overall, it was one of the games of the season. I thought it was finals pressure in that last quarter. Pressure on the ball carrier was immense, and it just showed that, we're going in the right direction. Brisbane probably have that year extra of development, and, I'm excited to see where this team's going to be, in the next year, in 2021, and even just in the next 3 or 4 weeks, where we can go from this. So there's more positives to take from this than negatives, so don't be angry about it. I'm not. Let's look forward to a good week of training and getting ready for the Melbourne game, because no doubt that game is going to be massive, and Melbourne are playing for their season. We're in a way playing for a chance in the top 8. So it's another big game, and we fucking hate Melbourne, so let's go and smash them Let's go and finish their season and get the job done. And that's what I want to see. So disappointing that we lost by 2 points, but you know, we're going to go through this as long as we learn from these losses. And every time we lose a game, we seem to learn from it. Let's turn this negative, exactly what Jack's just said there. Let's turn this negative into a positive and go and smash those jokers Melbourne next week. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Yeah, it's upsetting. It's really upsetting. I'm going to struggle to watch the highlights and see how much we dominated that last quarter and just didn't get over the line. But the fact that we put ourselves into an opportunity to win the game is the main outtake. We didn't just sit around and let Brisbane get all over us and finish the game off. We asked questions and we nearly came up trumps and nearly got the win. So that's it. You know, we did our best, didn't quite get the win, but you know, we're going in the right direction and we should be happy about it, and fingers crossed we get the job done next week. So thanks again for watching, guys. Stay tuned for the podcast on Tuesday. There'll be a lot to dissect about this with Marshy and Joycey, who no doubt have a lot of thoughts on this game. This video will also be up on YouTube, so please subscribe to Saints TV on YouTube if you haven't already. And as again, you know, thanks so much for watching. Love that so many people tune in and comment. Win, loss, you know, win, lose or draw. And yeah, go Saints. See you guys on Thursday or whenever the teams come out. See you for the next preview against Melbourne. Stay tuned for that and have a great week, guys. Stay safe. Go you Saints.